Still so tired. Still need more caffeine. Okay, let's talk about Leipzig. Hey friends and fiends, this is Pixie. So this is my big Gotik Leipzig Gotik Trefen, whatever you want to call it, vloggy do. Just to explain how I'm going to structure this, I did film some vlogs, bananas, I don't know. I did film some while I was there, but not as much as I wanted to, and I didn't end up talking about, you know, enough about the bands and things that I wanted to talk about. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut those in, and you will see me in Germany, but then I'll be coming back to here and now and me talking through the bands, but to make it a little bit more visually interesting than some of the other ones I've done before, where I've kind of just been waffling at you. I'm going to be putting pictures and things of bands and, I don't know, maybe my outfit and stuff, just to make it a little bit more exciting for you. So with that said, let's go back about a week to the first bit I shot there. Now, we're in Leipzig. Alan's holding the camera for me, which is why you're all the way over there. We were planning on doing some things last night, but we had some interesting situations with the trains. The train we were supposed to get in between the Channel Tunnel and another train got completely cancelled, so we were stranded at Brussels for about 4 hours, and then we had another delay, so we got into Leipzig about 5 hours later than planned, having had absolutely no sleep. And so we have mainly been asleep this morning. It's now getting onto the afternoon and we're about to go and potter about in Leipzig. This is the Thursday, so there's no bands on. It's not actually the festival proper, which is fine. It means we've got some time to recuperate, and I've got some time to work out where things are in the city. So this is the boring bit, but the next bits will be exciting, I promise. Okay. So that was on the Thursday. We got in on Wednesday night, kind of late. We were supposed to be there about 5 in the afternoon. We got there at about 11 at night. One of our trains was cancelled, possibly because of the storms in Germany. Apparently there was a massive cyclone in Cologne, which kind of rhymes, which pleases me, but yeah, it didn't please me that much at the time when we were sitting around in Brussels for about 5 hours, well, 4 hours, and then there was another delay. And Brussels Midi, which was the place where we were, is not the most exciting station in the world. It could be worse. I mean, it could be any number of stations in Portsmouth, but or in Southampton. Oh god, I could have been stuck for 5 hours at St Denis. Oh, that would have sucked. Anyway. I'm burping. So yeah, we got in there much later than planned, and so instead of doing quite as much sightseeing that we wanted to do, we just did a little bit of shopping, a little bit of orientating in Leipzig. We went and had food, and then we went home, got changed. I ended up looking like this, and then we went to this thing called the Blau Stunden, I think it is, which is an unofficial party held in a meadow in a forest, lit entirely by little funeral candles that people have brought with them, you know, the ones with the thing on the top. And so the dance floor was a ring of torches, and you know, the place there, and then there was a chap DJing. And then they had, yeah, torches, braziers. It was magical. It was goth as fuck, and it was magical. It was such fun. The music was gorgeous. It was mainly sort of dark romantic, kind of ethereal. I always say ethereal. I don't know why. For years and years and years I thought they were two separate words, but I am just pronouncing that wrong. Ethereal. And some Mittelalter, so it was a lot of Omnia, Faun, things like Sopra Eternus, Dinah Lacan, really nice music. And one of Alan's friends was there with their partner and their little child, who is 3 and adorable, and was dancing to everything in her little Red Riding Hood coat, and it was super cute. And so I ended up chatting to them for a long time, and well, trying to communicate with the child, but my German is awful, so it was mainly just me making faces and making funny noises, because, you know, I am a child at heart and I am easily amused by going and things like that. And hang on, which, when you've got a face full of crap, looks really weird. So yeah, that was Thursday. That was such fun. Friday was the start of the festival proper. I'd kind of wanted to go to the Victorian picnic thing, but unfortunately that was supposed to start at 3. The first band we wanted to see was at 4, so I couldn't really do that, unfortunately. I mean, I probably could have done. Apparently it ended up starting slightly early, but I didn't know. And given the amount of time it takes me to get ready when I'm dressing really fancy, I wouldn't have had time anyway. So instead we just hot-footed across town to a venue called Taub Central, which is vast and has this sort of outdoor area with foods and drink, and then the venue space with a bar. And we basically stayed there all day, because dotted throughout the day it was like, band we really want to see, band not bothered about, band we want to see, band not bothered about, band we want to see. So ended up staying there pretty much all day. First of all, for The Last Cry, who, you know, you've heard me talk about before. I love The Last Cry. They are amazing. They're just so emotive. Like Andy, the singer, who started off as a drummer, he was wasted as a drummer. I'm sure he was a really good drummer, but the man can emote like nothing else. He's like a silent movie actor having a nervous breakdown, and it's glorious, and it all comes from a place of truth. I was chatting to my friend Aid, who knows them personally, a little bit later, and he was saying that one of the new tracks, part of the lyrics comes from what Andy was saying to the Samaritans, and just, it's so sad. It's just so beautiful, and they're kind of euphoric but emotive, and just, it was a really good set. I absolutely adored it. Next band we saw was UndertheSkin, who again I've seen before at Sacrosanct. You may have heard me talking about them before. They aren't my thing. They ought to be. Everything about them seems like something I would like, but they just don't quite do it for me. But that said, it was a much better set than the set I saw at Sacrosanct. Much better sound, much more involved. I enjoyed it. Yeah. So not my favourite band in the world, but they were pretty good. Next we saw another one of my favourites, Beauty of Gemina, who I've probably talked about on here before. They're a Swiss band and they are so good. So bloody good. Yeah. So they did quite a mixed set from, you know, various songs from various albums, including some of my favourites, and they played their more acoustic version of Dark Rain, which is so jazzy and jaunty and so unlike the electronic version, but still brilliant, and I love it. So that was like the last track that they played, but the whole set was great. I didn't get many pictures of them because they had far too much smoke. It was like being in the Nephilim gig. It was just so much smoke. So yeah, that was another highlight. After that we were quite hungry and I needed to sit down because I'm a lazy ass and I don't really go outside very much normally, so my legs were hurting. So we went out and got some food. There was one of those little lots of little stalls. One of them was selling Rambrot, although it wasn't called Rambrot, it was like Manbrot or something, but it's that, excuse me, it's that same bread stuff that I've had many times in Miraluna, where like they bake the rolls with cheese and things in, and then so it's all gooey and yummy and nice. So we had some of that, has a few beers, caught up with a few friends, and during that time Merciful Nuns were on. I'm not overly bothered about them. I think I have seen them before. They're another gamut band that are fine, they're just not really my thing. And then last up on that day was Skeletal Family, who again, seen before. I think I may have spoken about them onto YouTubes before. They are great. I really love her vocals. Unfortunately, it took a little while to get going. They were having problems with the microphones and with the monitors, so it took a few tracks for them to get going, and then it was kind of a short set. Like they finished really early, and they didn't do an encore, so I don't know whether there was something up. But it was still a good set. It was not the best I've seen them do, but I've seen them several times in the last couple of years, so I'm not that bothered that it wasn't the greatest set I've seen them do. And yeah, it was still good. So after that, I went to bed because I was tired. I was still really tired after the journey because I hadn't really slept. It was, sorry, I'm getting caught in things. I don't really sleep if I don't take my medication, but in order to get up early enough on travel day, I had just not slept, so I was really tired. So slept in a bit. The next day, when was that? That was Friday? No, Saturday. I'm getting confused in my times already. On the Saturday we had been planning on going into the market in the Agora. Didn't end up doing that because I slept in too much, but we went to a little mini markety thing on top of the Moritz Bastei, and so here is a clip of that. Hey Beans, so it is now Saturday and we're just ambling around in Leipzig before we go off to see Jo Quail and then Monica Richards. We've just been wandering around this little, do a little pan, this little cute little market at the top of the Moritz Bastei. There's not a huge amount here, so we haven't done much shopping apart from acquiring wine. But we had a bit of a late start today because we were tired, or rather I was tired because I was sleeping a lot. Yesterday we went down to, what's the venue called? The Taub Central, and saw The Last Cry, who you may remember me talking about on previous occasions, who were brilliant as always. This was probably one of the better sets I've seen them do. We then saw UndertheSkin, who again I'd seen at Sacrosanct. Their set was better than Sacrosanct, but I don't know, they don't really do it for me. Then we saw Beauty of Gemina, who were also amazing. Again, one of the better sets I've seen them do. And we were right down the front. I was on the barrier thanks to Mr. Allen over there, so that was a lot of fun. Then we potted about a bit, sorry, my nose chain is playing up. Then we potted about a bit and just chatted to some friends because Merciful Nuns were on next and we couldn't be bothered. And then we saw Skeletal Family, who again I probably talked about before. Their set took a while to get going. They were having some problems with the microphones and with the monitors, and it was a bit of a slow start despite opening with their big number with So Sure, but yeah, they played a pretty good set. I quite enjoyed it. There was no encore though, which was weird, but yeah, that's me talking for today. I am dressed absolutely ridiculously and I'm loving it. This place is amazing. I'm having fun. Anyway, talk to you soon. I mean, I say talk to you soon. I mean, for you it will be a couple of minutes, but you know, whatever. I'll see you soon. So yeah, after that we wandered down to, I can't remember the name of the venue, I'm sorry, it wasn't actually in the venue, because it turned out that the venue that they'd booked was way too small, so they were just had the you know, the acts on in the street. So we wandered around a corner and there was an acapella band doing, well, at the time that we wandered up they were doing a cover of Leonard Cohen's Alleluia. And then they did a cover of unofficial by Asp, which is one of my favourite songs. I love Asp, they're great, and yeah, that was really cool, and here is a clip of that. So that was fun, and then they did one other song that was like a funny song about beer. I don't know where it was from, but it was quite funny. I can't remember, sorry, what the name of this group was, but I will put it on the screen. I don't know what I've got. Like, there are two programs, and I forgot one of them. I don't know where I put the other one. It's probably still buried in my suitcase because I haven't actually got sorted everything out yet. But then after that was what we had potted down there to see, which was Jo Quail, who is a London-based cellist, and she is phenomenal. Amazing performer. She's so talented, and so we were waiting for her to sort of start setting up, and Al was worrying because it was like, well, maybe she's inside because I can't see her, and you know, where's the crowd that's normally with her, and you know, her crew, where is everything? And then a couple of minutes after he said that, up comes a minivan. Jo rocks up straight off, travelling from Berlin. She'd been stuck in traffic. So she rocks up, grabs hold of a cello from somebody else that she has never used before, spent 5 minutes tuning up, and then played the most beautiful music. She played a piece by Bach, a piece that I can't remember who it was by, and then one of her own pieces, which is one of the ones from her upcoming album, which is going to be out in November, which is really exciting because it sounds really interesting. It's something that she's having produced by some guy who normally does black metal, so it's really sort of weird and experimental, and it involved her retuning the acoustic cello so that it sounded odd, and then playing multiple always playing 2 strings at once. So she might have, like, you know, one finger up there or rather one finger right down there at the like below the, is it still called a fretboard with a cello? I don't know, but below the neck of the cello, right on the base of the strings, and then have the other string, you know, at full length, so it's sort of this contrast between high and low notes, and oh, so fascinatingly beautiful. So that was pretty magical, to be honest, and it was just outside under a tree in this, you know, beautiful little plaza next to this beautiful old building. Leipzig itself is just full of beautiful buildings. I wish I had had more time to just, I mean, the whole Vegete experience is basically, I wish I had more time. I just, there were so many beautiful places that I wanted to visit, so much history, and even a zoo. They have a zoo. I want to go to the zoo. But just not having enough time. If I ever manage to get my lazy broke-ass back to Leipzig, I want to spend like a week on the other side, or perhaps beforehand, just, you know, experiencing more of the city, because it was so lovely. Everywhere is so spacious, partly because of the the tram lines, even like the roads feel a lot wider and more open and more spacious. And thankfully we had pretty good weather. The forecast was like rain, 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 rain. I saw no rain. Like after the first day when we got there and it was raining, I saw no rain. There was no rain. It was just sun. I got sunburnt. Oh yeah, I always get sunburnt. I'm pasty. But anyway, I'm rambling about other stuff. I will talk a little bit more about, you know, the whole atmosphere in a little while. So next up we wandered down to this beautiful Art Deco theatre called the Schauspiel Haus. We got there just in time to see a band that I'd not heard of before called Neun Welten, I think. I may be pronouncing that wrong. If I am, I'm sorry. I will put the name on the screen. They were really nice, sort of really atmospheric and gentle, and even like the singer's speaking voice when he was introducing like the next songs in German, which I didn't really understand, but it was just so soothing and nice. And the Schauspiel Haus is a sit-down venue, so that was kind of nice. The only downside is that the seats are kind of narrow, and because I'm really neurotic about people touching my arms, so like I was spending a lot of time just kind of like this, because I feel like sitting next to people and I'm just like, can't let them touch me. Anyway, my neurosis aside, it's a really nice venue. There's so much leg room and the seats are really comfy, and it's just like, ah. Of course I can't fall asleep without taking my pills, but I think Alan might have fallen asleep a couple of times. Anyway, after them was what we had come there to really come here. Words. After them was what we had really come there to see, which was Monica Richards, the beautiful goddess-like Monica Richards, in collaboration with a lad named Anthony Jones. Well, my camera overheated, so you get 2 lazy daytime pixie looks for the price of 1, because I had to film this on a different day while my camera cooled down, and you may be at something of a Dutch angle at the moment, so I apologise. Right, where was it? So yes, Monica and Anthony Jones. So as I was saying, Anthony Jones is someone I'm not familiar with. He is this tiny, skinny little twink of a goth creature with a big death hawk, who somehow, within that tiny ribcage, managed to have the lung capacity for, I don't know, filling a Zeppelin. It was kind of incredible. So I am definitely going to have to look up some of his work, because by Jove, the kid can sing. So that was something of a revelation. Monica was, of course, radiant, goddess-like, and they were performing a lot of stuff that I wasn't familiar with, but it was beautiful and I enjoyed it thoroughly. Nice mixture of very sort of ethereal, arabesque influences, especially in the vocals, very sort of that sort of warbling effects that you get in Middle Eastern music, with this sort of up-tempo, more dancey beats. So definitely enjoyed that. Looking forward to listening to this. As I say, I will probably do a full show and tell haul thing of all of the crap I picked up while there. Oops. So yeah, that was a wonderful set. That was one of the highlights of the festival for me. After them were Arcana, who I've got to admit I know a few songs by, but I'm not overly familiar. They're very, very gentle, ethereal, atmospheric, very, very beautiful. A little bit too down-tempo for my liking, and I did find myself sort of going, oh, and just sort of chilling out, but the music itself was beautiful. It's kind of funny because the 2 singers kind of look to me like slightly nerdy librarians who were very pissed off that you bought in your books overdue. But their voices are beautiful, the music was beautiful, and this was apparently going to be one of their final gigs. They're, by the sounds of it, they're people who don't really enjoy the whole touring business. They're very, and it's just, the whole music process is just eating into their time. So they're taking time out, and they might come back, they might not. So I'm glad I got the chance to see them. You know, I have this terrible ability to see bands just before they split. And yet again, the curse of the pixie. Anyway, so that was a wonderful day, and after that we went out clubbing, went to a sort of dark romantic night at Haus Leipzig, which again was beautiful. Similar sort of set of music as the Blau Stunden, I still don't know how to say that, but with more of a gothy angle and less of a mittelalter angle, so a lot more Sopraturnus, Dynalacan, all about Eve's styly stuff. And everybody there was just beautifully dressed, and I felt slightly underdressed, which doesn't often happen to me. I'm not used to this feeling underdressed lark. But it, I suppose this is a good point in the tale to talk about just how open and accepting everything at Leipzig was. It's really, really nice that everybody just felt able to be themselves, like their true selves, if you want to sound really pretentious about it. There were a lot of people, especially at this dark romantic night, who, you know, whatever they were, they presented as gender-wise, would be dressed in just beautiful frocks. So, you know, it doesn't matter if you're quite masculine presenting, nobody cares if you're turning up in a 18th century ball gown, nobody cares if you're turning up in combat boots and, you know, slacks or something. You know, it didn't, everybody seemed so comfortable, and that's so lovely. Now, admittedly, I didn't go into any of the sort of more fetishy nights, I think, because that's not my scene. I don't really want to be around lots of people who are mainly naked. But I get the impression that, you know, that's the same sort of feeling throughout, that everyone just feels really comfortable being themselves, and that's so liberating. It was lovely. Anyway, so let's go on to the next day. Next day was Saturday? No, Sunday. I got a good memory. So Sunday we started off by going to the Agora, Agora. I keep calling it the Agora. I'm a classicist, can't help it. To go to the shopping market bit, which was phenomenal. Just the whole, it was like this huge warehouse type thing. Just absolutely rammed with exciting stalls selling exciting stuff, and I may have spent quite a lot of money. After that we headed back to the Schauspiel House. I'm probably still pronouncing that wrong. Just in time for that to like properly open. First act we saw that day were Vocame, who are a side project of Quntal, who I will talk about in a sec. They were very sort of like church choral, minimal instrumentation, and what there was very sort of medieval, sort of folky, and mainly just, you know, glorious crystalline vocals, just, you know, beautiful, not really my thing, but beautiful. And I think I probably enjoyed that more than Quntal themselves, just because it was so different, even though it's not really my thing. After them, I can't remember who was on after them. Oh, no, I can. I think it was the lovely Jo Quail again. Let me double check because my brain is a shit. It's alphabetical, isn't it? Sorry, I'm looking. This is the big program sheet of Doom. House. Yes, after that was Jo Quail's electronic sets, which was amazing. Like, if you're not familiar with Jo, and I highly recommend, if you haven't heard her, look her up. Her stuff is so fascinating. She performs with an electric cello and just layers and layers of tape loops. So she will start off just sort of, you know, getting a beat going by hitting the cello, you know, hitting the strings or hitting the side of it, and then that will become a beat, and then she'll start layering in sounds, and a lot of it has a slightly sort of industrial sound, but it's incredible because it's just this one person who was able to fill, you know, this venue is huge. She's able to fill this space with just so much sound and rich, interesting noises. And she's also very witty and very funny and a just generally nice person, and she's just great, and you need to check her out if you don't know her. She is so fascinating. If you're interested in music at all, I would recommend looking her up. She played quite a few songs that I was familiar with, including some stuff that I have not seen her do live before because it's a bit quieter. Normally when I've seen her perform, she's either supporting somebody or it's at the like beginning of a club night or something, and in her words, she turns up, makes a big noise and fucks off. So it was kind of nice to have her have a full set where she could do slightly quieter, more slow build songs. And that's one of the other lovely things about Leipzig. Everybody seems to get almost a full set, so you know, you don't get any like you would at other festivals that I've been to where, you know, they've got 20 minutes and then they're kicked off. Everybody I saw had at least half an hour, if not an hour, and that was pretty great. I mean, and even the ones that got like half hour, that was, you know, the gigs that were out in the street or you know, that kind of thing. So you got the chance to really see a proper set from someone, because that's been one of the few bugbears I have with Mirror Luna, and I love Mirror Luna. I've been going for like 7-8 years now. Sometimes you will see a band and they will only get 20 minutes, half an hour, depending on when they can get a slot. So say I saw Faith and the Muse and they only got about 25 minutes because there was a delay getting them on stage, and then they got kicked off because the next band had to start setting up. It was just like, why? So yeah, it was really nice to see Jo do a full set in a venue with really good acoustics, so it could just fill the whole room. And then she finished, well, she didn't finish with, but she did one more new track from the upcoming album, the one that's coming out in November. Holy crap, just, she got a standing ovation for that. It was phenomenal. I am so excited for this new album. So yeah, Jo, big thumbs up. Jo is great, go and check her out. After her, I think, was Quntal. I'm going to double check because I can't remember, because it's been over a week now because it takes me so bloody long to do anything. Yeah, Quntal were next. Now, I've seen Quntal a couple of times at Mirror Luna. I have some of their stuff. They are not really my thing. Even though they kind of predate the whole big voice lady with rock bands thing that became kind of popular in the 2000s. They just don't do it for me. Like, I like all of the individual elements. I like, you know, the beat that they've got going. I like the singers, they're very talented. The sort of lead instrumentation chap who plays literally every instrument under the sun, from theremin to dulcimer to everything. I like a lot. The second singer, who has the most just gorgeous crystal clear voice and also plays the violin, is phenomenal, and I kind of like the way she dances, but it just doesn't fit together in a way that satisfies me. There's one or two songs that are like, yeah, I enjoy this, mainly they're more up-tempo stuff, but it just comes off, and I apologise to any Quntal fans, like, I totally get why they're popular, but there's just a little bit of a naffness there. There's a little bit of a taking themselves too seriously, like, yeah, it's a bit too show-offy, but yeah, that said, this was one of the best sets I've seen them do. Again, acoustics in that place are glorious, so it sounded lovely, and yeah, thumbs up even though they're not my thing. Next up were somebody who absolutely is my thing, even though before seeing them I wasn't overly familiar with all their stuff, and that was Rosa Crux. If you don't know them, they're a French band. They're absolutely mental. They live in a chateau that they bought for themselves, where they've built themselves a crypt because they're that goth. And most of their songs are in Latin, and yeah, there's like, it's very sort of atmospheric and medieval themed, and everything's sort of about plague and this is sort of dance macabre type thing. There's a lot of sort of, you know, medieval skeleton imagery, and but musically just so rich and doomy and atmospheric and nice. But their stage show is simultaneously like really simple from the point of view of, you know, it's main for a lot of songs it's just, you know, the guy singing or play the guitar and then the other guy on the piano, but their idea of a drum machine is this, and I'm going to put a clip in. So that is a set of, I assume, plastic skeletons with little motors and, you know, those sort of military band type drums. They always remind me of Sharp and the Soldier kind of songs. Yeah, yeah, with little motors so that they play the drums. That's their idea of a drum machine. Brilliant. The other stupid instrument that they have is, I'll put a picture here. There is a set of specially cast church bells on strings, so that the guy who is occasionally playing the piano and occasionally doing other stuff is just hammering on these levers, and I'm wobbling the camera like mad, sorry. And then they ring, and that was so cool. Like they're specially cast for them, they say Rosa Crux on them, and so cool, so cool. They also had a pair of occasional dancers, occasional flag bearers. So to begin with one of the songs they were sort of doing this, and pictures. They're basically on a barrel right in front of the front row, waving these flags above our heads. So it was a lovely breeze. It was really nice. I should hire these people to follow me around. These beautiful androgynous looking people in like dressed like medieval monks, or possibly monks, possibly plague doctors minus the masks, not quite sure, a little bit of both. Just waving these enormous flags that say Rosa Crux, because everything they have says Rosa Crux on it. So yeah, that was during one song. During a few other songs, one of them came out and was playing the bagpipes, because it's not a German festival until you've seen at least one doodle sax. That's what German bagpipes are called. I like that fact. It sounds like it's the most onomatopoeic word. Doodle sax, that's exactly what they do. They go doodle 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 and they're a sack. Anyway, so there's that, and then there was also a bit towards the end of the set where they came out, and then there was a tray full of sand, and they were well, I would say dressed, but they were pretty much nude, so like this, covered in dirt, and doing this weird sort of penitent throwing sand over their heads in this sort of rhythmic sort of up, down, left, right motion. So yeah, by the time they finished the one song that they were doing that for, the entire auditorium was just full of dust. I feel really sorry for whoever had to clean that up. But they were phenomenal. As I say, I kind of knew some of their stuff before. I ended up buying, like, they had a compilation CD that had basically their 3 albums, so I got that. Because they were great, and all of their merchandise was ridiculous and has like yeah, like even the CDs have like a massive wax seal on them, and it weighs a flicking ton. And they were selling all sorts of like candle holders and like mock relics because they're ridiculous. Basically all of the money these guys have, or have had, I don't know, is fed into the band. So they never have any money. But yeah, they were amazing. A definite highlight. I was sitting there with the biggest grin on my face for pretty much the entire thing, because it was just the right level of ridiculous and just the right level of very seriousness with just a hint of irony and sort of knowingness that stopped it from becoming, you know, pretension on the level of, say, Nosferatu, who think they're amazing and do not realise how silly they are. These guys seem to realise exactly how silly it is and just totally embrace it and take it to the nth degree, and that is just my jam. So that evening we went out clubbing again, because that was the last sort of club night thing. And then on the Monday, which was the last day, we went to the medieval markety thing at the Agora, and just sort of potted around there a bit, met up with some friends. The medieval market is basically like the Miraluna one, but like 20 times bigger, and that's great. And they have a couple of stalls where stages where they have bands on and sort of crazy performance stuff, and it's just fun. And I ended up buying even more nonsense because I can. And there we saw Heimataerde. I never know how to pronounce it. I think it's Heimataerde. But I love them. They're like my favourite electro band themed around Knights Templar. They run around pretending to be undead Knights Templar while playing really bouncy, cheerful songs while covered in fake blood. And it's exactly the sort of silly that I love. So yeah, that was a great set. After that, I went back into Leipzig proper, into town, to the Bastei. Cannot pronounce any of the names of these places, I'm so sorry. And I filmed a little bit there. I may end up repeating myself a bit in it, so anyway. Hello beans, so it's the last day, it's the evening of the last day. The stalls are packing up behind me at the Bastei, I can never pronounce that. Just about to go in to hang around and wait for Still Patient to be on, because I'm very fond of them. So yeah, I'll put a link in the description, because I'm actually in one of the videos and I haven't seen them in a couple of years. They sort of disbanded and then got back together again. So yeah, I haven't vlogged very much, I'm really sorry. I will do, well, you'll probably have already seen it by now, I'll do little gig review do's. But today I've just come back from seeing Heimataerde, I hope that's how you pronounce it, at the Viking Village Beat, which is so much fun. It's like the one in Miraluna, but like a million times bigger and with more stuff. and with better bands playing, and I love Heimataerde. I saw them again at Mira Luna and they were such fun. Ooh, I'm going fast. I'm just standing out in the street because I can't be bothered to go in yet. So yeah, that was today. Today was wandering around the market and seeing them. And yeah, this evening is going to be hanging about in here. I haven't been in here yet. This is one of the main venues apparently. I haven't even been in the big main venue, but there weren't any good bands on in the big main the Agora. There weren't many big bands on that caught my fancy, so I didn't. I'm just turning around for no reason. I don't know what I'm doing. I lost my shopping. I hope that this isn't fucking up the audio because it is a little bit breezy. I might vlog in there, I don't know how noisy it'll be. It's all like underground. Let's see. So down there. It looks fun. So yeah, that was today. Yesterday we did the main market in the Agora, which is vast. It's huge. I bought so many things. I might do one of those show and tell haul things. I don't know. What else did we do? We saw a side project of Quntal. Then we saw Jo Quail do her electronic set, which was amazing. She did quite a few tracks, including one new one, which is so good. I cannot wait for that album. Then we saw Quntal, who are not really my thing. I'll talk about that probably when I get home. And then we saw Rosa Crux, who I'm not overly familiar with before, but they were so fun. So again, yeah, I will talk about that back home. I'm going to stop talking to myself in the street like an idiot and have another cigarette and then go inside and see if I know anybody who's inside already. So yeah, in the next clip I'll be talking about something else, or talking about what was going on anywhere else. Wind's terrible, sorry. Right, stop this. And after that I actually went in. This venue was I can't remember what century it's from, possibly somewhere between 16th and 18th I think, but it was a Prussian fort. It was all beautiful brickwork and these vaults, and it's a bit of a labyrinth where there were multiple bars, one doing cocktails and one doing beers and one doing food, and you know, and then there was a little bit, I say little, reasonable sized bit with bands on. So I managed to get in there in time to see the band on before Still Patient, and I'm going to look up who they were because I can't remember. They were a band that I'm not familiar with, but they were quite nice, very sort of standard gothic rock kind of thing. They were called Principe Valiente. Don't know very much about them, but it was very nice gothic rock. And yeah, enjoyed that set, even though the lady next to me dropped her glass and it shattered everywhere. So the first like song and a bit I was just sort of slowly steering the crinoline away from the glass. And then after that was Still Patient doing their 30th anniversary thing, and that was fab. They did a bunch of stuff from their new album, which sounds really good. They're just such fun. And again, my friend Aid knows them, and so it was, there was a whole bunch of us Brits right down the front, just cheering and having a good old time. And yeah, so I was right down the front because Aid just sort of went, ah! So that was fun. And yeah, I mean, I've only seen them a handful of times, like twice maybe, and this was probably the best I've seen them. The quality of sound in that place was really, really nice. They didn't get to do like more than like a tiny encore, unfortunately, because they're efficient Germans. They don't like people overrunning, which was a shame because like everybody in the audience wanted them to do like a million encores. But yeah, really great set, really good end to the festival. And then we just spent quite a while sitting outside in the courtyardy bit, chatting away to various friends, meeting people, Unfortunately didn't get a chance to say goodbye to all of the people that I met and been hanging out with throughout the rest of the festival, so if I didn't get to say goodbye, goodbye. And yeah, the whole thing was magical. The journey home was slightly too long and I've spent the last week kind of just recovering, but yeah, very big thumbs up for Leipzig. If I can ever scrape together enough money to afford to go again, I am definitely going again. The whole experience was just really lovely. It was kind of exactly what I expected, was just overwhelming, beautiful people, beautiful venues, beautiful architecture, beautiful music, you know, everything was beautiful. There just wasn't enough time to do even half of what I wanted to do. I mean, there were a whole bunch of bands that clashed because, you know, there's 200 odd bands, I'm never going to get to see them all. So if you're watching this and you did see some of the other bands, do let me know what their sets were like. I wish I had been able to go and see Haus again, or All Gone Dead, or Blixer Bargeld's sets. I would have loved to see, you know, so many other acts, but it's just physically impossible. I wish I could be in 30 places at once and never need to sleep, but alas. Next video will probably be a very quick sort of show and tell of all stuff that I bought. I do have a few more videos planned, so if you like me rambling, don't worry, I'm not normally this waffly. This is a special, I mean, it's like feature length, you know. But yeah, if you like what I do, hit that subscribe-y-do down there, or maybe it's down there, I don't know. I am now also on Instagram and Facebook and Tumblr, and all the links are down there. You can normally find me just by looking for Postmark Pixie, because that is me. Plus there is now some new stuff on my website. I have some free short stories up there right now, and over the course of the next few weeks I'm going to slowly be uploading a little bit more. So if you want to have a look at some of the stuff I write, that's down there at Eclair Books, and of course you can buy the book. I will see you very soon with the next video, and up until then, have a wonderful spooky time, and I will see you then.